you don't know me, my name is Angie Holden, and I'm a blogger and YouTuber at The Country Chic Cottage. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about layering vinyl, and I have a fun SVG file for you as well for free. And so we're going to make this sign with the free SVG. So it says old-fashioned hot cocoa served here. And I'm going to teach you how to do a layering technique that you might not have seen before, and it'll make layering vinyl like this super easy, no matter how many colors you have. Let's take a look at the supplies you'll need. The supplies you'll need for your project are as follows. You'll need your Cricut machine, as well as a board base and paint to paint it with. So I'm going to paint the inside black and my outside white with a paintbrush. Now we are going to get the look of a framed picture all with one piece. These are wood panels. They're solid on one side, but the opposite side is actually inset, and it actually has a ready-made frame all around it. So we're going to paint this portion to look like a frame and the inset portion a contrasting color. And then with your Cricut, you will need your cutting mat. Blue works great, or green. You will need, in this case, 2 colors of vinyl, but that will depend on the design that you're using. So I'm going to use red and white. And then you will need some transfer tape. For this method, I recommend transfer tape that is as clear as possible. I'm going to use the Cricut brand. You can use any brand, but I do recommend clear. And then our secret to this method for transferring is wax paper. Yes, the wax paper right in your kitchen. I also recommend some scissors, weeding tools, a scraper, and a roll of tape. Next, let's go ahead and get a coat of paint or 2 onto our surface. So I'm going to paint this inside, just the bottom, with the black. And this may take 1 to 2 coats depending on if you like a rustic look. 1 coat might be enough. If you want a more finished appearance, 2 to 3 coats might be required. So we're just going to paint this and then allow it to dry completely before we add any vinyl to it. Then we'll allow this to dry before we add the white. Then once the black is dry, we can paint the frame, and I'm going to paint the frame in white. Now, I did want to note that I'm using a chalk paint. First, let's upload our SVG file. You go to Upload, Upload Image, Browse, then find your file. I will note that a SVG is best when uploading to Cricut Design Space. I do offer this file for free, and you can find that link below. And it will be a zip file with different file types, but I do recommend that you upload the SVG to Cricut Design Space. Then once that's uploaded, you can resize if needed to fit the size sign that you have. First of all, this is uploading as red and black. I'm actually going to ungroup this, and I'm going to cut the black from white. If you need that visual, you can change the color right in Cricut Design Space after it's uploaded. And that way you can see better what your project will look like after you have cut it. All right, now you will want to attach your white pieces together. So we're going to hold the control button down, click each of the white pieces, and we are going to click attach. Now we can click make it, and you can see our white pieces are together and laid out just like we designed them, and then the red words are together. Now we can click continue and cut our pieces with our Cricut machine. All right, so I'm going to use my Cricut Explorer 2 for this, but I will note that any of the Cricut machines will work. So if you have the Cricut Joy or the Cricut Maker, you can definitely use those instead, as long as your design will fit onto the Joy. That's the only thing. And then I'm going to use a light grip mat for my vinyl. Then I'm going to cut the white first. And for adhesive vinyl, you put this face up on the mat, and we'll press it down well. Then for the Explorer 2, I can actually just turn my dial to vinyl. For the Maker or the Joy, you will need to pick your material right in Cricut Design Space. And then I have my fine point blade loaded into my machine. Then we can just load our mat in as soon as the arrow button is flashing, and then we'll press the button to load the mat in. Then as soon as the C button is flashing, we just press it to begin the cut. When the cut is done, press the arrow to remove your mat from the machine. You can then use the same procedure to cut the red portion of your design. Then remove the red mat from the machine. And now we will talk about weeding. Here are my 2 pieces cut with my Cricut. I went ahead and trimmed excess from the sheet to use as scraps on another project. And now we need to weed our designs. So to weed the designs, we want to take away all the excess from around the outside edge, as well as anything like the centers of letters. And we'll want to do this on both the white and the red piece. For larger designs, a lot of times it's helpful to remove your excess partially the way through to give you less like sticky things to keep track of while you're weeding the rest. Then we'll remove the centers of the letters. And I'm going to continue on and weed the white piece as well, and then we'll talk about our layering technique. All right, you want to start with your top layer. In this case, that will be our white. And we're going to put transfer tape over the entire white piece. So I cut this transfer tape to approximately the size of the inside of my board. And what I like to do is kind of come from the top, just drag it along my work surface until I get to the very first, and then just start putting it down. And then you can use your scraper as you move down your piece. So we just want as few bubbles as possible for our next few steps. Now we're going to burnish that down really well. And we need to layer, in this case, the middle part, right? So it's the hot cocoa portion. So what I'm going to do is sort of a trick, one of a few tricks. So our first trick is I only want the vinyl in the hot cocoa area to be exposed when layering. That will just leave fewer chances for mistakes and fewer things that can stick to my work surface or whatever. So I'm just going to slowly peel back the served here. So this is the bottom. I'm going to make sure all the white stays on the transfer tape. And I'm going to get up to about where the hot cocoa starts. And I'm going to put a crease into this backing paper. I'm going to use that crease to make a cut. So we'll just pull it up just a little bit and use the crease to cut almost to the end. So we don't want to cut all the way to the end yet. So we want to leave about maybe 1/2 inch at the very edge. So I'm going to cut to about right there. There's about 1/2 inch. And I'm going to use that 1/2 inch to fold this back over, get it lined up, and then we're just going to lay that right back on top of the served here. Pick up this side and finish that cut. So now I have like one backing sheet across this bottom portion, and now I want to reveal the hot cocoa. So we're just going to peel this back, making sure that all the vinyl stays on our transfer tape, and we'll reveal the entire middle portion. So this is what we need to double layer, is this portion. So we're going to go up till we reach that top portion. Again, we're going to crease it down. This time we're going to cut it away, and we're going to get rid of this piece. Now we can discard this. So now we have the hot cocoa, vinyl, and the other 2 pieces have the backing paper still on them, so we don't have to worry about them sticking to anything or that type of thing. And then our next secret weapon, a piece of waxed paper. So I just tore off a piece of waxed paper. It needs to be larger than your design. And now our other secret weapon is tape. So this is our bottom layer, which is the hot cocoa. So I'm going to put that on my work surface. I'm going to tape it down. So just in a couple spots, we're going to tape that down. Don't put any tape on this edge, just over on this side, because we are going to need that edge in a minute. And now we want to put our wax paper down, and we want to put it down so that this edge is out of the wax paper. So the edge of my wax paper is falling right on the edge of this A, and I've got a small portion of the backing paper from the hot cocoa showing out from my wax paper. Now I like to tape my wax paper down so it moves as little as possible. And I'm just going to do that on all 4 corners. All right, so now I have wax paper, the piece I want on the bottom of my layer, and I have my piece that goes over the top, again with the backing paper still on the top and bottom, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, the beauty of wax paper is this vinyl will kind of stick to it, but you can peel it right back off, and it's not strong enough to pull off the transfer tape. So now we can use this. So that's why I need everything clear, right? So the wax paper is fairly clear, the transfer tape is clear, and that way I can see through both and I can make my alignment. So maybe I think that's aligned, and I go ahead and put it down. Once I put it down, I see that it's not aligned at all. It's off slightly. I can just start peeling that back, and the vinyl will actually stay with the transfer tape and won't stick to the wax paper. So we can just peel it right back off and try again. And you can repeat this as many times as you would like. So as many tries as it takes you to get the alignment correct, you can do that. Now I have it back off, and now I can work on my alignment some more. So now I'm gonna actually do it where I think it's aligned and get it as close as possible to being over my hot cocoa. All right, so once I have everything, I think it's pretty good, right? It's lined up pretty well. I want to use my squeegee. That portion we had over here on the side, that the backing paper was exposed, I just want to press it down really well. And then I want to press it down on the table really well. And I could even run a piece of tape along the table here, because I don't want this to move. Then, once again, we'll need to peel this off of the waxed paper. This time we don't want anything to move, right? So we have everything in location. So we want to peel it up off the waxed paper, but be sure to stop just when it's off the wax paper. And then we'll peel the tape up. We'll just kind of work this wax paper out from underneath. And now nothing's moved, right? Now we can start working from this edge that's been taped down, and it should line up as we go across. Again, you'll just want to watch it, make sure everything's lining up, and then move across your piece. Then as you go, like these letters look fine, so I'm just going to go ahead and squeegee those down. And we'll just lay the rest of this down, squeegee it down well. Now we can remove everything. So we'll get this tape out of here first. Then we can flip the entire thing over, and we can remove all of this backing paper at this point. So when you remove this middle one, you'll want to be sure that the red stays along with the white. And then we can remove these top and bottom ones as well. All right, and now we have all of our vinyl on our transfer tape, and this one is ready for our sign. So for the sign, I have painted this black with a white border. We're going to center it up and down and side to side within the frame, and then press it down to the bottom. Once you're happy with the location, you can press it down really well with your scraper. Then we'll just peel back the transfer tape and make sure that the vinyl stays on your sign. So you just want to peel this back really slowly. And in the areas where it's layered, you want both layers to stay on the sign. I like to pull it back at a 45-degree angle and just keep looking from side to side just to make sure I don't see any areas that are lifting. If any are lifting up, so say the A was lifting up, you just fold it back over, burnish it a little more, and then continue to peel back. So I'm going to continue to peel back this transfer tape, and then we'll take a look at our finished sign, as well as a few more designs that you might like. So I said that this project is super versatile, right? So I wanted to show you a few of the other things that I ended up making. And I don't even know where to begin. So this one is Merry Everything and Happy Always. Now, I made 3 other signs, and the 3 files, once you download the free SVG for this one, so you're gonna head to the link, you're gonna put in your information, you're gonna get the free SVG for this one. As soon as you sign up for that SVG, an offer will open up for these other 3 that I'm gonna show you. So this is the first one. And again, I did a lot of layering on these using that same technique. This one has a ton of different colors, so it's even more layers. The next one is this cute Days Until Christmas sign. And for this circle, I actually used a chalkboard vinyl. So now you can write how many days it is till Christmas in chalkboard, erase it the next day, and kind of count down till the big holiday. And then last but not least is this Farm Fresh Christmas trees. And these little buffalo plaid trees are actually layered vinyl. So that's red vinyl with black on top. So I used that same technique to line those up and then added the green as well. Same technique. And as you can see, the sign itself is super versatile. So we did black with white frame in the video, and here we have white with a stained frame. So the only thing I want to say is for the stained versions, so stained frame, or if you stain the inside, like this one, I would stain first and then paint. So I went ahead and stained the frame on this one, and then I painted the inside. So always do your stain first would be my tip for that, and use a water-based stain so that the 2 products are compatible. If you have any questions about the procedure itself with the wax paper for layering, give it a try first. Grab that wax paper and just give it a try. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I will definitely answer those.